In the previous class, we have discussed the design of boost converter, and we have seen that the system is inherently unstable, and for that we provided the closed loop feedback. After that, we have seen there is a significant improvement in the phase margin and the gain margin, but still not sufficient. So we need to make it stable by adding a phase lead compensator, and in this previous discussion we have designed a phase lead compensator. So in the design we have taken the switching frequency as 100 kHz, and then the gain crossover frequency therefore is considered 1/20th of this, less than 100 kHz. Therefore, we need to have a lead compensator which must provide the maximum phase angle at 5 kHz so that the phase margin becomes positive. This was the idea, and with this we have designed the phase lead network. So let us say that we want the overall phase margin to be 52 degree at 5 kHz. Then we have seen the phase angle of uncompensated system TUS has angle of -27 degree. This is -27 degree here. Therefore, the net angle that must be contributed by the phase lead compensator must be 52 minus 27 means -27 becomes +27. So it must provide the maximum phase angle of 52 plus 27, that is 79 degree. The overall compensated system has the loop gain of GC, the compensator, into GPWM, into GBD, and into H. It's basically product of G into H. While this whole term form the G, this form the H. So this is GH. And the product of GH is called the loop gain. So the loop gain is now this term. Now we will study this loop gain and find out what must be the overall gain margin and phase margin. Okay, so let us go further for the design of lead compensator, design aspects of the lead compensator as we have derived earlier. This is the transfer function for the lead compensator in S domain, which is S plus ZCY, S plus PC. You can take common ZC and PC outside, then we will get 1 plus SY ZC divided by 1 plus SY PC. And this becomes DC gain when S is equal to 0, GC 0 into 1 plus SY ZC and 1 plus SY PC. The transfer function for the lead compensator is therefore written as in this form, where the frequency S equal to J omega C, because we want to have the maximum phase angle contribution from this compensator at omega is equal to omega C, that is gain crossover frequency. So we have found in fact that the value of phi C max that it must be contributing at the phase crossover frequency must be 79 degree. Just we found earlier, this must be the phi max here. This is from the requirement of the overall phase margin, the phase margin of the compensated system, plus the 27 degree additional because it has a negative angle at 5 kHz. So that had to be adjusted. Substitute this value back, we will get Fz as 481 Hz and we will get the Fp as 51.93 kHz. This we have discussed in the previous class. I am just summarizing what we have done. And we can see obviously that this is the lead compensator because omega z is far less than omega p. So the placement of 0 is near the j omega axis. The placement of pole is far away from the j omega axis. We can also find omega z and omega p by multiplying by 2 pi. You can see here this is 2 pi and it comes out to be 3022.21 radian per second, while omega p is 326.28 kiloradian per second because the power 3 is there. Okay, and these are 1 by omega z and 1 by omega p. This we have done. Once we know these characteristics of the lead compensator, we can go further to design the controller. Okay, the next step is to calculate the gain at omega c. This is from the requirement of the phase margin, the phase angle of the lead compensator. All this is from the perspective of the phase angle of the lead compensator. What about the magnitude? So we will find out what is the magnitude of this lead compensator at S is equal to omega c. So we can study this, the magnitude of G at omega is equal to omega c by simply replacing S is equal to j omega c. So here the S becomes j omega c. If you replace this, then we will see that this is the constant DC gain here, and this is 1 plus j omega c by omega z, this term, the first term here, and then the next term is j omega c by omega p. Then we will see what is the nature of omega c. Omega c we have taken as 1 by 20th of the switching frequency, and we can say the Fc or omega c is from this value of Fc, that is 500 Hz. If you want to find out omega c, then it will be 2 pi into Fc. And if you recall, the value of Fz is 481 Hz. The value of Fp is 51,930 Hz. So what do we see? That Fz is far less than Fc. Okay, if you see this particular equation, Fz is far less than Fc because 481 is less than 5000. And also the Fp, the location of the pole, is far away or far greater than Fc. So we can write like this, that Fc is actually far less than Fp, but far greater than Fz. Or you can say omega c is far less than omega p and far greater than omega z. Using these conditions, we can simplify this expression. What is simplification? Now we know omega c by omega z. If you look, is far less than 1. So you can see this here, omega c by omega z is very much less than 1, and therefore this term can be ignored. And omega c by omega p is far greater than 1. Therefore, this can be ignored. Since we are interested in the magnitude of the compensator gain, so we are interested in the mod of this. So I can say the mod of this is the value of this, correct? And we can say the value of this. So I will ignore the j because we are interested in the magnitude. Therefore, this becomes GC0 into omega p will come up. So omega p by omega c. Okay, into GC0. GC0. We can again replace the value of omega c in terms of the omega z and omega p. We have proved that the maximum phase angle is contributed by the phase lead compensator at omega c equal to omega z omega p square root. So we substitute this value back here and simplify this. This becomes omega p by omega z into ZC0. So this is the magnitude of the GCS at S is equal to omega c. This is mentioned here. This is the magnitude at omega c. Then we will solve what is the magnitude of GBD at omega c, because we have to see the magnitude of the whole gain, the whole transfer function at omega is equal to omega c. The transfer function here we are referring the loop gain. So let us find out what is the magnitude of GBD at omega is equal to omega c. So it is the same procedure. We just express first what is GBD in terms of the S. So this was the expression we have developed using state space averaging modeling, and it was Bn by 1 minus d square, 1 minus L by R, 1 by 1 minus d square into S. In the denominator we have 1 plus L by R 1 minus d square into S plus LC by 1 minus d square into S square. This we have already derived previously. Now substitute S is equal to j omega, or we can substitute the all parameters in this expression. We will get these terms on the right hand side. This is the constant term into 1 minus this coefficient into S, and 1 plus this coefficient into S, and this coefficient into S square. If we substitute the value of S as j omega c, omega c you already know, 2 pi into 5 kilohertz. Then you will find the relative magnitudes of these terms is like this. This term has the value of, the whole term is a value of 0.55, and this term has a value of 17.54. Okay, so obviously this term is dominant as compared to these terms, and here this is smaller than 1 anyway, so we can ignore this. So this can be ignored and this can be ignored. What is the remaining? this term into 1 by this term. And what is this term? Actually, this is 1 by omega n square, because this is the second order characteristic equation. So you can express like s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square, or you can express s square by omega n square plus 2 zeta by omega n s plus 1. So we have this form of expression. Okay, the denominator of this form of expression. So s square by omega n square. So 1 by omega n. This is 1 by omega n square. We have done it earlier also. So omega n, therefore 1 minus t by LC, because this term is 1 by omega n square. So therefore omega n 1 minus t by LC square root. We substitute this value for giving d and LC. We will find that this value is 7501.64 radian per second. This is called natural frequency of oscillation. And then we can find the value of Fn, dividing it by 2 pi. So this becomes 1193.66 Hertz. Natural frequency. And we can see that omega c is greater than Fn, more than 4 times. Considering this into mind, we will simplify this. So we can say this is negligible as compared to this, and this is negligible as compared to this. Therefore these terms are gone. We have only b in by 1 minus d square, which is called as GBD0 at 0 frequency, into omega n by omega c, because this is omega n square, this is omega c. Okay, so s becomes j omega c square by omega n square. Since we are interested in the magnitude, and therefore j is ignored, or j square minus 1 is ignored, omega n will come up and omega c will come down, and the expression becomes GBD0, which is this term, into omega n by omega c square. So this is the magnitude of GBD at omega is equal to omega c, that is at gain crossover frequency, which is 5 kilohertz. Therefore the overall gain, if we look, the overall gain at omega is equal to omega c will be Tc at omega equals to omega c is equal to Tc0, we call it Tc0, equals to Gc0 equals to Gc0 into omega p by omega z, because this was the value of the lead compensator magnitude, into 1 by b triangular peak. What is this? GPWM, forward loop, into GBD0 into omega n by omega c squared. What is this? This is GBD at omega is equal to omega c into h, which is R2 by R1 plus R2. This is the loop gain at omega is equal to omega c. What must be the value of this loop gain at omega is equal to omega c? Because omega equals to omega c is the new or the design crossover frequency, gain crossover frequency. The gain crossover frequency is the one at which the magnitude must be 0 decibel, or the magnitude of the loop gain must be 1. GH equal to 1, and log of 1 is 0. So the decibel gain at the gain crossover frequency is actually 1, a 0, because log, if you take the 20th of log of 1YGH at omega is equal to omega c, this is the gain actually, this is the gain margin, is it? Now this is 1, it has to be 1, that's how we define the phase margin. The phase margin is the angle away from 180 degree axis at 0 decibel gain or at gain crossover frequency. So this means that GH must be equal to 1, or loop gain magnitude at this frequency must be equal to 1 if we want to find out the new phase margin at omega is equal to omega c. Therefore, we will put this condition 1 equals to GC0 into omega p by omega z. We already know what is omega p, 51.93 kilohertz, and omega z is 0.841 kilohertz. 1 by triangular, 1 by 3.5. GBD0 is 133.33 and omega n is 1193.66. This is omega c. Actually this is FNYFC, I am making it. Doesn't matter, you can multiply by 2 pi. Okay, so let us not get confused, because omega n y omega c square is same as FNY FC square. So it doesn't make much difference because it's a ratio. So this is FC by Fn square, Fn by Fc square here, Fn by Fc square into H is R2 by R1 plus R2, so 5 by 400. This has to be the gain overall power to the single level gain, HS. Multiply all these terms, equate them to 1, then we will get at GC0 as 0.3546. This is the gain at omega is equal to omega c. You may ask me that, well, GC0 is actually here. GC0 is ZC by PC. But actually it is not. We will view this as some constant. Okay, and this constant multiplied by other constants together is new GC0. So do not get confused by the ratio of omega z by omega p simply. With this new gain as GC0 here, the transfer function of the boost converter control system is, this is the GC0, then this is the lead compensator, this and this, then we have 1 by 3.5 transfer function for the PWM block, and then we have GBD, this is GBD, and finally we have HS, so this is HS. Simplify this, we will have this transfer function 1.6885 into 1 plus 3.31 into 10 to the power minus 4s for the lead compensator, and then for the GBD. So you see the effect of this term, effect of this term, effect of this term, effect of this term, and effect of this term. All these constant terms are now included in the overall gain of 1.6885. Although we have called this term as ZC0, but if you multiply all constant terms, put them together, this is called the overall DC gain. This is the overall DC gain, because if I put S is equal to 0, then all these terms are taken out except this term will be there. But this is the gain of the lead compensator, you can say, at omega is equal to omega c. And this is the overall DC gain. So there are differences in various these terms. Now we can plot this and see the response of the overall system. So we define the numerator. So there are two transfer functions now. This is one transfer function here. So we will define as one transfer function, then the second transfer function by this concept that transfer function equal to so and so. We can define numerator 1 as this one, denominator 1 is this one, and then numerator 2 as these parameters, denominator 2 as this parameter, and then we will define system 1 transfer function, numerator 1, denominator 1, and then system 2 as transfer function, numerator 2 and denominator 2. Then combine them. Overall system here is given by the product of two systems in cascade, system 1 into system 2. Or you can multiply these terms and arrange them in the order of S, that is also possible. Or you can say this way, you can write the program this way. Then you find out the Bode plot or margin for this overall system. You will see that the gain margin, the new gain margin is now 4.97 decibels, which is a positive, and the phase margin is 45 degrees. And the gain crossover frequency is not 5 kHz but 6.32 kHz. So there is a slight shift in the carrier frequency, which is 6.3 kHz. You can see here that this is the carrier frequency. This is 0 decibel gain here. This frequency is 6.32 kHz. But our design plan was to have at 5 kHz. Because of approximation, the carrier frequency does not coincide with 5 kHz. So it had to be adjusted. Okay, this can be done by looking that what is the gain at 5 kHz. We want to shift this gain crossover frequency at 5 kHz. So I have to draw up a line. This is 5 kHz. This is 1. This is 2 kHz. 3, 4, 5. So this line is the 5. And at this line, the gain is 1.6 decibel. This is 1.6 decibel. So you can see here, if I have a downward shift for this graph y 1.6 decibel, then I will get the new gain crossover frequency at 5 kHz. So I have to shift this curve y this amount, okay, this amount, that is 1.6 decibel. So 1.6 equal to 20 log of x. What is x? X is 1.2022. So I have to shift this curve by a factor of 1.2022 down, or we can divide GC0 by a factor of 1.2022. So the new gain of the lead compensator must be equal to now 0.3548 divided by 1.2022. This factor, which will be responsible to bring the Bode plot down by 1.6 dB. And this factor is, therefore, this value of new GC0 is 0.2951. So this is final value is 1.68, earlier it was 1.6 here, you can see here 1.6885, so divide by 1.2022 factor, then it becomes 1.4 0.0545. So 1.4055 into all these factors are same. So remaining terms are same as the previous one, this and this, then denominator term 1, 2 and 3, all these terms. Again we find out the margin for the new system in a similar way. Then we will see the overall gain for this system is, gain margin is 6.57, which is positive and acceptable, and the phase margin is 51.5 at gain crossover frequency of 5 kHz, which is what we have designed. So this is quite a stable system. So we have stabilized with the help of the lead compensator and adjusting the gain of the lead compensator so that we get the positive gain margin and the positive phase margin. System is stable as a whole. These are the new values of the gain margin and this is the phase margin. This is the crossover frequency here, omega c is equal to 2 pi into 5 kHz. This gives us the desired dynamic characteristic of the controller for the boost converter. But let us check the steady state performance because that is equally important. So we know for any general system like this, where this is the input signal and this is the output signal, there is a feedback system HS and the forward gain is GS for the system. The overall gain CYR is given by GY 1 plus GSHS. And if we want to find out the EYR, the ratio of error to the input signal, then it is RY 1 plus GSHS. So this is the ratio of the error becomes RY 1 plus GSHS. So for any change in the input as a unit step function, the RS can be given as 1 by S in Laplace domain. Substitute 1 by S here, this RS as a 1 by S. So S will come here, this one, and this is 1 plus GSHS. Now we find out what is the steady state error. We can use the final value theorem. That is, this ESST when t tends to infinity will be equal to limit s tends to 0 for the function s into es. Okay, so this is from the final value theorem using the Laplace transformation. They are equivalent. Either I should do this or I can do that. So if we apply this formula, then we will see this becomes s by s, because already s here, 1s is this, so s by s, 1 plus gs into hs, and s and s will cancel. So finally we have 1 by g0 h0 because s is 0. So this is the value of ESS t when t tends to infinity. This is called steady state error, ESS. Now if I have GS or G into HS with a pole at origin, in case it has a pole at our origin, then we can write GS HS in general. You can write, if you want, you can write HS also as K by S, S plus P1, S plus P2 and so on. Okay, in that case you can add HS here without much difficulty. You can generalize it. If this is a situation, then limit s tends to 0 for this case, make it infinity. So when limit s tends to 0 for GSHS having pole at origin, the value is infinity, and therefore ESS for such a system will be 0 because this is infinity. Therefore, having pole at the origin for the overall transfer function is desirable in order to reduce the steady state of the controller to be 0. And this can be achieved by having the PI controller along with the lead compensator, because the gain, the transfer function for PI controller is Kp into Et in time domain. In S domain it becomes Kp plus Ki by S because the integral becomes Ki by S, and the overall transfer function for this is Kp into 1 plus Ki Kp by S. So this Ki by Kp is some constant, and we can call this constant as omega Pi. And this is S here, this is Kp, which actually is of the nature that is some constant Kp and S plus omega Pi by S. So why S adds the 0 at the pole at the origin? So any PI controller, if you see, adds the pole at the origin, and that's why the integral controller, PI controller, reduces the steady state gain to be equal to 0. And that is one reason why you use the PI controller in most of the applications, because we want the steady state error of the system should be equal to 0. Therefore, we add this PI controller here of this nature. Let us say Kp is some parameter. We can design this value in GC0 itself, and this can be referred as 1 plus omega L by S. So omega L is the omega Pi, and omega L is taken far less than omega C because it must not affect the dynamic performance of the whole control unit at omega is equal to omega C. Therefore, the omega Pi or omega L has to be less than omega C. And this is being added here before lead compensator. So this PI controller, this lead compensator, and PWM and DC converter equivalent block, and finally the feedback system makes the complete control loop for the boost converter, the complete closed loop control of the DC to DC converter, that is boost converter. And the new compensator, if you look, this whole thing looks like a with the new gain of the combined PI and lead compensator is like this. So GC0 into 1 plus omega L by S, this is for PI controller, and this is for the lead compensator. The overall transfer function with PI controller and the phase lead compensator is given by this. So where ZC0 is the gain, and these are the pole and 0 location for PI and for phase lead compensator. Now the question is that how do we choose omega L? The omega L is chosen in such a way that it does not affect the performance of the whole system at the gain crossover frequency, and therefore we choose omega or FL for less than FC, that is gain crossover frequency. So we see here that the gain crossover frequency is 1 by 20th of switch frequency. This is the switch frequency. So Fs by 20th. This is 5 kilohertz. And again, then 5 kilohertz by 50 becomes FL. So this term is actually FL. FL into 2 pi becomes omega L, and therefore the omega L becomes 2 pi into 5000 by 50, which becomes 628.32 radian per second. With this value of omega, the overall transfer function is seen as 1.4045 into this factor for PI controller into the factor for lead compensator, this and this, and then into the factor for the plant DC to DC converter. So this makes the overall transfer function TS. We study its Bode plot and find out the gain margin and the phase margin, and we see that the gain margin is 6.55 decibels and the phase margin is 50.3 degree, which are quite positive and ensures that the system is stable. These values are quite close to what we have got earlier without PI controller, but without PI controller there might be some steady state error. And the whole scheme looks like this. So this is the converter. As you can see here, this part is the converter, and this is the gate signal which is coming from the PWM control unit. This is the control unit, okay, in the red dashed lines, the control unit. This is the power circuit. So this voltage is being sensed V0 using the Hall effect voltage transducer or any voltage sensors. This goes back as the feedback signal to the control block input as a negative feedback. V reference is being compared with this feedback signal. B reference is mapping to the V0 at a signal level. It maps to V0. Then the error is passed through the PI controller, then compensator, then PWM, and the output of PWM block goes to the gate of the switch. So this is the closed loop control scheme for the boost converter to make it stable and to give the desired performance in terms of the dynamic and the steady state characteristic. So with this it completes the design, but you may still ask question that what is inside this PI controller, how it should be realized, how this should be realized in terms of the circuit diagram or circuit details. You can implement them either in digital domain or you can implement using the analog circuits. So I will give some brief idea about this in the next class. I will stop here and we will meet tomorrow for the next class.